Okay, now we're looking at a preheater here, the Soybean preheater. The old one is 46 inches long. The new one is going to be 58 inches long. So we take a 5-foot piece of screen for the side of it. So we can take a 5-foot piece, 5 by 10 screen, and bring down across the side. Here we see our overall height is 7 foot, give or take, from the bottom of the dryer to the top. But then on here we have a U-trough. We're going to throw a measurement on there yet. Forgot to do that. So we will okay. So that's another 8 inches. So we're looking at 7 foot 8 inches overall height of this unit. The inside width of the plenum is 3 foot 4 inches. The height of the flat side is 3 foot. This here is 2 foot on the straight here, 2 foot high, but it's actually, if we do some measuring here, this here is 2 foot 10 inches, and then 3 foot, so that's 5 foot 10 inches. We go down to here, and that is 3 foot again, so 5 foot. So it would take 8 foot by 5 foot screen to build the side of that. If we look real close here, there's a couple details I want. We have a little bit of a dip under the metering roll. The metering roll takes a 1-inch shaft or a pipe like an auger core that would be like, you could use like the auger core for a 6-inch auger, and then you take 8 gauge galvanized and bend it. You have 1-inch flat, and then you have 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches sticking out here. So this is how you build the metering rolls for it, and then you just put a bolt through here. You just put a bolt through the center to hold it all together. That's how you would build your metering rolls. In here we have, if we look here, between here, this here is actually up a little bit far, halfway between the here and the outside edge of these. So we'd want to go halfway in between, and that's where we need to cut off this bottom piece. So we need an opening of about 5 inches in here, and then you have a 6-inch U-trough here. It's a 7-inch trough with a 6-inch auger in it for unloading, and these metering rolls would dump into the center. You would have your screen coming down here, and then steel coming straight down. And then if you look, there'd be a little gap in, well, not a gap, but it's 2 separate pieces. Then you have this piece here that is about 1 foot tall, I think this is. No, 6 inches tall, and 3/4 inch bend on each end to strengthen that. And then you would have a bolt going through right here. You'd have a bolt every 12 to 18 inches from one end of the dryer to the other. You'd have a bolt with a slot in this and a bolt coming through here. That way this could be adjusted up and down for how high we want this off this metering roll. So we could bring this down here, or we could let it up higher, and that will affect the bushel per hour coming out of it. So with the DWG file, you should be able to get any measurements off here you want. Over here, I drew up a kind of a 3D model of the dryer. Shows the U-trough sticking out the back. This would be the back of it. Kind of gives you an idea of what we got going on. We can come up close, look at how that's built. Just kind of get a view of things. Hopefully this makes sense. We would be looking at a 5-foot span from end to end, but then what we would need to do is either put an angle iron brace that would come down across the sender here to brace that, which I think is what we would want to do, is have a brace that comes down the sender and then down here and then down here to hold the center of those screens to beef them up. We don't want a divider in the middle that makes it multiple columns. We want it all open as one column, but we're going to need a brace on the outside of the sender to keep it from bulging, because 5 foot is a pretty long span. So that should give you pretty much what you need to know. I'm going to send you these files, these DWG files also, so you can plug them into a computer, or you can plug them into Ars Touch, ARES Touch. It's an app for a tablet. You plug them into there, roll it around, see how it's built. If you want more details, let me know. I can do more details, but I want to talk to someone on what details you need to know before we start. And on the inside of these, we're going to need an angle iron also to brace up the sender, just to have like a brace around in here so the center of these screens don't bulge. So there, that should be a good start on figuring out what it's going to take to build it.